All right, we're headed to our second ever Summoner Skirmish, and today we're taking Annie. I'm gonna give you guys the deck list in just a second. We're headed over to Grandline Games. It's an absolutely terrible day outside weather-wise. It's cold, it's wet, it's rainy. Perfect day to cozy up indoors and play Riftbound all afternoon. Our ultimate goal this season is to just get into the top 8. I'm feeling really confident with Annie. Let's head over to the store and let's see what happens. Wish me luck. Here's a quick look at the Annie deck list that I ran in the skirmish, starting with our legend, Annie Darkchild. At the end of your turn, ready 2 runes. This is awesome because you'll see most of our spells are only 2 runes. For our chosen champion, we went with Annie Stubborn because when you play her, you get to pull a spell out of your trash back to your hand, and this came in handy a lot. As promised, 1 copy of Tibbers. This was just for the meme. I literally only got to play him 1 time, and he did make a big difference. I just wanted to say that I played him. 3 copies of Red Kaisa. Now, I only own 1, but I borrowed 3 alt art copies from my friend Tanner just so my deck looked awesome, but this card is too good to not have. 3 copies of Cleave. We're running Darius, and that's your main target for this, but it has plenty of uses in the deck. We're playing purple, so 3 copies of Stack Deck to help you find the cards that you need. 2 copies of Gust, and you'll see later in the video why this card was pretty much useless for me all day. 1 main board Falling Star. 2 copies of Fight or Flight. This is just a great combat trick. 3 copies of Ride the Wind. This is just such a strong card, and honestly, running Vise and Darius's, this was a win condition for me. 2 copies of Flash because I've only opened 1 Proving Grounds box, and since Houston, this has gone way up in price, but this card is incredibly good. Of course, we have 3 copies of Vi. This is one of the easiest ways for us to win the game. 2 Pouty Poros. It's nice to get this on base early, especially having Deflect. 3 Traveling Merchants to help sculpt your hand into what you need. 2 Noxus Hopefuls. This card is always being played for only 2. A great turn is if you're going second, turn 1, stack deck, and then play your Noxus Hopeful for the 2 left. So you on your first turn, you have a 4-might unit. This card is really good. Annie wants to go fast, so we have 3 copies of Sneaky Deckhand, 3 copies of Void Seeker, 3 copies of Darius, and in this deck, it is so easy to play that second spell. Sometimes the second spell is him. He sees himself enter to get his ability. All right, let's run the sideboard real quick. I had 1 copy of Vayne, I had 1 copy of Falling Star, 2 copies of Acceptable Losses in case we ever saw an Aurora deck, 2 copies of Rebuke to help with Yees and with sets, and then 2 copies of Fading Memories. We went with 7 Fury runes and 5 Chaos runes. I think it's got to be 6 and 6 because there was a couple games where I wish I had more purple. And lastly, for battlefields, they're all foil. I always started with Arena's Greatest, and then depending on the first game, I could switch to either Dreaming Tree or Zon Warrens, once again, to help build our hand the way we needed it. Let me say that playing Teemo was a lot of fun, but playing Annie was a lot more fun. I really enjoyed playing this deck. So I did record a little bit of my first round match, and I'm glad I did because I wanted to use this play to say anytime you feel unsure or uncertain about something, like definitely call a judge, because here my opponent plays Imperial Decree, which says when any unit takes damage this turn, kill it. And my 2 units, which are a 4-might Kaisa and a 3-might Annie, are on Fortified Position, which says all units, attackers and defenders, get +1 might. And so in my opponent's understanding of that, he can swing in with his now 2-might recruit token, and it's going to actually kill both of my units. And he did say that he checked with the judge beforehand that this is how this interaction works. But for me, I was a little unsure because the way combat works, and all combat damage is dealt at the same time, and in Riftbound, you have to deal lethal to 1 unit before you can assign damage to the next unit. So even still, to me, this didn't make sense because you can't divide the 2 might to each of my unit, to 1 to each of my units. And as the judge is actually ruling in my opponent's favor, my friend Tanner at the table next to us says, hey guys, there's been an errata. You actually want to look up how this card actually works because the timing of combat, that's actually not what happens. And so thankfully, after doing some research and consideration, the judge actually ruled this in my favor that yes, he could kill 1 of my units but he wouldn't be able to kill both. And thankfully, I ended up winning this match in the end. All right, quick update. We're 2 rounds in. Round 1 had to play against Victor, went all the way to turns, and ended up winning in turns. Not off a score either, like I got to 8. And then round 2, I played against the Master Yi. I came in confident from my scrims, but he was playing a mid-range. Ended up going to game 3, going to time, and I actually won the game in times. But 2 good players, 2 good decks, sitting at 2-0 going into round 3. All right, we lost the next 2 rounds, so we're 2-2. I lost to a really good set player, and I lost to the Master Yi that I lost to in round 1 at the last skirmish. Great player. I was ready for Master Yi Aurora, not ready for Master Yi mid-range. Anyway, got 1 more round. If we win it, hopefully we'll sneak into the top 8. Well, we made it back home, and we got the Trendemir promo. No Blitzcrank promo. We did not make the top 8. I think, bless you. I think had we won round 5 and finished 3-2, our breakers might have squeezed us into finishing at least 8th, but hey, we'll never know, because I lost in a game 3 to the 3rd Master Yi mid-range deck that I saw on the day, something that I did not practice against or was not prepared to play against either. But we played better, we played a better deck, and we have a better record than the last skirmish. So all of that is a win in my book, and the goal is for us to finish in the top 8, get that Blitzcrank promo for the Origins set. So we still have a couple more skirmishes left on the calendar. We got to see which ones we can make, where we can go, and hopefully get that done. Thank you guys so much for watching this channel, and all the growth has been super cool. But if you've been watching and you haven't yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It helps me out, helps channel analytics, helps grow this community right here on YouTube. But stay tuned, we still got a lot of Riftbound stuff to do, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one.